That had to be probably the funniest moment in this entire series. It absolutely had me rolling. Rika just frog just lands right on her face in that panic mode that she goes into, just wailing the entire time while Brig is trying to help her out. Daniel comes flying over and she's like, Daniel, you're like looking really cool right now. She's still got a frog on her face. She's like, Daniel, you look really cool right now. It's like, how can you even see him through the frog? That was just way too funny. Just the voice. The Seiyu did an absolutely incredible job with that panic mode. Like, she just totally sold that, just wailing like crazy. It was too good. I absolutely love that scene way too much, but yeah, good episode overall. I think it was a decent episode. I like this sort of opening the door to a possibility of a future, like, storyline. Like, we're kind of setting up that, like, after the mainline series of this entire thing ends, does it end with her and Ferdinand just going around, traveling around and, you know, picking herbs? Just traveling around picking, like, an entire sideline series, a side story chapters that just has them going around and collecting random herbs and her infusing them with mana. It seems to imply the fact that, well, we got this already, right? But I think there was sort of a possibility of her plethora of mana. Like, how much mana she has is what's causing this stuff to sort of happen. Everything wants to kill her. Like, even in this episode, things are coming to grab her. Like, everything is interested in her. The monsters want to get her and everything because of that mana. And I thought that abundance of mana was what was causing everything to sort of be altered in some way, or again, be attracted. But it seems like it's implying that it's a unique type of mana. That the effects that at the nectar in this situation, the effects to the nectar might possibly be her specifically, not necessarily the mana. And so, yeah, I want to kind of see if that'll happen to other things. Like, I kind of like how it kind of plays out this idea that she's so troublesome, and then at some point, Carter's like, you say that she's troublesome, but it sounds like you really like what you're doing. You really like her being involved because she changed things. She makes things happen. Every time she's involved with something weird happens. Something interesting happens. But again, that whole little ending sequence at the very end of the episode implies the idea of, like, let's go travel around. Let's just go to places and try out things. And she's like, we got to pay me first. I want my library. So if we have a random library pop up out of nowhere, we'll know that he's starting to pay her. Like, he's doing a down payment beforehand so that later on, investing now for later on kind of thing. But yeah, overall, really solid episode. I think the most interesting thing in this episode really is around the potential of this goddess. I had to be truthful here that when I'm watching this show, I keep questioning the idea that do gods even exist in this world? And I think that's sort of drilled in my head because honestly, there's so many other series that either don't have a presence of a god or goddesses, or the people themselves create gods and goddesses. Like, there is an actual god, and it's typically the one that brings the individual over to that world, but the people, they worship something else. Like, they've created their own god or something like that. And in some cases, they manifest their own gods. So I'm not really used to having an isekai series where it seems like all signs are pointing to them actually having gods in this world. Like, there is a presence of gods and goddesses in this world, and they're constantly talking about them. And yes, in some cases, it seems like they do intervene. And this episode seems to imply the fact that, yes, this goddess actually was present there. They actually came there and welcomed Myne in. Because when they arrived, they cleaned that statue, they offer the prayer. Like, the fact that she does the... She's like a Japanese prayer, and then suddenly she realizes everybody's looking at her. She's like, oh yeah, that's right. This dude... I'll never get over that stupid pose, by the way. That's just the dorkiest prayer pose ever. The one leg up bonsai kind of thing going on. It just looks so weird. But yeah, the whole offering to the goddess. And then afterwards, it seems like, again, based on that this goddess has welcomed her in. Now, it is kind of odd, the fact that it seems like they only welcomed in the females. And I had sort of in my mind the possibility of, well, it's a spring. What would the goddess be doing at the spring? The goddess would be at the spring probably bathing or relaxing in the spring. And so they don't want the presence of males. This is a private thing. So they don't want the males to be in the area, so they only welcome the females. And so they welcome this entire van full of girls into their little spring bathing that's going on over there. But yeah, welcoming Myne in. And again, there's a thought process there that it might be some sort of, the spring itself is trying to draw her in order to, consume her mana or something like that. But there's already a presence of tons of mana there. It doesn't need more mana. They already talked about the fact, like, when they get there, Brigitte's like, whoa, there's a lot of mana here. And even over here, when Ferdinand shows up, he's like, Why would you go wandering off into a place that has a crap ton of mana? Like, what are you doing, girl? Like, that place is probably going to be dangerous. There's going to be either a monster there, or the mana itself might be altering things. Why would you go in there? It might be dangerous. I mean, they can even get the idea that that could be even more damaging to her because she already has a problem with mana, or just the amount of mana that she already has. But no, it welcomes her in, and again, all signs seem to point that this is a actual presence of a goddess. A goddess is there, and then the moment that Myne comes forward, offers that prayer to the goddess even welcomes her up to get the nectar. It's really interesting. Now, granted, you kind of question the fact that why would it offer the nectar to Myne, and then for some reason, because the sun comes up, it disappears and drops her. It's like a goddess has a problem with, maintaining this flower so that she doesn't fall to her death. Now, again, it could be the idea that because it's that night that they sort of like, it's a moment where humans and gods can essentially sort of banquet together. They can come together and have a presence together in a location. And when that night ends, that moment is disconnected. The realms are no longer like coming together at that point. The realms of the gods and the realms of the humans. So it's interesting either way. I'm always fascinated by the fact that this seems to be implying that there is a legitimate existence of gods and goddesses in this world. And it's not just mana and then mankind is making up that there's gods and goddesses. And it really could easily get in that route because, again, the structure of the churches and whatnot typically does control people by making up that there is a presence of a god so they can be the utmost authority to the people while controlling and maintaining that power of the mana itself. You can see that, right? That's why I keep questioning it. I always question it, but and I'm certain there's probably more information in the novels. I think I've had a few people, in the comment section and Discord, they have mentioned the fact that, no, there is like this god and this goddess and, there's lore behind this whole thing. And it's like, well, yeah, this just sounds like it actually has an entire thing behind it. So it's pretty cool. I'll eventually get to it when I start reading the novel series. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to really dive into with the novel series. But until then, what else did we have in this episode? I did like the build up to the moment of going to get the actual nectar. We have, of course, them doing the spring stuff still. And at some point they talk about the fact they have to get this flower, get the nectar from it. He has a spoon that specifically doesn't affect the mana, which is kind of interesting. Plus all these different jars. I want you to separate all these jars. I want you to be able to distinguish what is your mana and its mana. He has like all this homework to give to her beforehand. One little moment in the episode though is like this brief moment where it shows them eating together, and then suddenly out of nowhere Eckhart looks surprised, and it jumped out at me in my notes. I'm like, wait, why did Eckhart suddenly look surprised? I assumed it was because Ferdinand was smiling when he was watching Myne eat, and I thought that Eckhart was seeing that and going, holy crap, this guy that I always see as being like very stern and bossy and very strong, he's suddenly looking kind. It mentioned it later on though, the fact that he was surprised because it seemed like he wasn't, cautious of the food that he was being served. Because they have, obviously Myne's servant is there that is cooking all the food, and then that servant has brought the food to them, and he's just accepting it. All Myne did was take one bite, and suddenly he takes a bite. Why would he trust her so much? It's kind of odd to see that Eckhart right now is finally questioning that, but I think it's probably because he hasn't been present with them when they're eating, that this is suddenly a shock to him. I was kind of in the same boat when he responds to Eckhart's like what am I supposed to be afraid of? Like, I've been with this girl for a long time. She's not nobility, thus there's no status there. I think what he's saying there basically is because she wasn't originally nobility, I don't have to worry about another house that was coming after me. In nobility, there's people that want to kill me. There's people that want my position. There's people that would gain from something happening to me. But a random person that's not nobility, they don't know who I am. She never knew who I was before she, got to the church. I have no fear with her being in a certain party that's coming after me. Additionally, yes, all she talks about is books. I mean, there's a concern there, right? If somebody comes along and says, I will offer you an entire, street block size library that's all to your liking, any book that you want, as long as you kill him, girl gonna take that. There's a chance that she'll take that. All right, cool. When do you want him dead? There's a bad side of how simple-minded her mind is, but still, I kind of get that whole thing there. But yeah, there was a brief conversation about specifically Myne learning from the incident at Hase, which, she kind of points out the fact that she's causing problems because she doesn't understand the common sense of nobility. So she's trying to be a lot more trying to correct those rashnesses now. It seems like it's implying that, unfortunately, during all these little montages, she's being a lot more authoritative to the people that she's talking to. That possibly as they're going to the other locations of the prayers, she's being a lot more bold and being a lot more strict about how she talks to the individuals. So kind of sucks that we don't get to see exactly what they're talking about there, but the point is here that she's trying a little bit harder so that they don't have problems again. He does point out the fact that now that she's the daughter of the Archduke, she's going to be dealing with nobles more often, so she wants to expand what they're doing. But she says that she doesn't want to expand forward, she wants to increase the depth of what they're doing. I'm guessing what they're implying there is not trying to produce more or whatever, or make more buildings, whatever, but that she wants to increase the quality of what she's currently doing. I want to increase the paper quality, and what was the other one? Oh, literacy rates. Literacy rates is kind of the question mark, I guess. Like, for the sake of the nobles, I guess the idea that, what they're currently doing, which is distributing more books so that more of them are smarter. Again, that's what the whole point that, Sylvester wanted. I want to increase the literacy rates. I want to make our region better so that we can, get up on that totem pole, whatever. Anyways. But yeah, we get up to the mountains. Brigitte said something about the fact that it looks like Ilgner, which kind of sparks Myne to want to go there so that she can check out the paper. We can make some paper over there. Let's make some deals. Which that kind of opens the door there. Seems like Ferdinand talks about the fact that she wants to go there later on. But yeah, they clean the statue. They fight off the froggies. Eventually they get inside the area with the goddess. It was odd the moment that they got there. The response immediately is grab my musical instrument and start playing some music. It's like, we're not going to question the fact that we just got transported. We're not going to question, are we safe? We're just legit going to go like, let's play a song. They just immediately go to playing a song. They don't even question where Ferdinand is or anything like that, or if they're safe. Just, where's my instrument? I got to play some music right now. I just woke up. I got to play a song. It's just so weird. I mean, again, in the end, it worked because they made this offering and everything like that, so... But yeah, it all wraps up with the conversation with Ferdinand and him again about trust and how she doesn't have anything about her that I should be worried about. And yeah, this desire to kind of go out and travel with her and use her unique mana in order to do some research. Cultivate various plants in order for research, which again, I kind of feel like that could be possibly a side story thing at some point. It's just the travels of Ferdinand and Myne as they go around and pick different herbs. There was a little snippet during that trust conversation, which did show, Ferdinand sort of, not that he was eating alone when he was younger, it's just that he was with a group of people, which I would presume is his family, but he was isolated. Like, he was with people, but he wasn't with people. That he wasn't like a part of the group. And it also, based on what was on the table, it looked like everybody else had eaten, but he had not touched his food. Which again, that can go back to what they brought up in that conversation start, which is the trust of Myne and her not poisoning him. And he might have had a fear, even with his own family or who he was with, that they would poison him. That he could never trust the food that people gave him. He always had to eat alone or make his own food potentially. Again, it's tragic. It never implied the fact that this guy had a good childhood. It seemed like even his mother hated him, so... It's rough, but it's a good episode overall. I enjoyed it. Again, goofy little frog scene and some intrigue around the gods and goddesses to kind of, once again, kind of breathe life into them. Actually make them an existing thing in this world that I always kind of question with a lot of other series. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, until next time, take care.